Yep, it's that time again, everybody. A time where I get groovy. I believe this will be part two of this will be part two of GameTale. My AU slash what if. Part two of GameTale. Basically, what happened in part one? Well, Game Tale Sans. GameTale Sans. He kinda his sins of his past caught up with him, and now he better find a liar, real fast, because dun dun dun, like and the sands that I was constantly calling vanilla sands in the first part of this story, their name is actually mint sands, like mint ice cream. Their name is mint sands. That's their actual name. Not vanilla, it's mint. However, vanilla sands could be in this story in the future. It's just not now. It's mint sands, not vanilla sands. Because I'm freaking stupid. Anyways, Mint has herself someone who will be with her. You know, assisting her in putting game sands behind bars. And the person who is assisting her is the very captain of the Royal Guard. Her backup, basically. For that is going to be her backup for this. Undyne was like, well, why not? But Undyne had the one condition, that is, if they fail on this, or if they're forced to put in a compromise, that Vanilla will basically be kicked off of the Royal Guard. Like, kicked off and kicked out. Like, it's not just if they lose the case, but if they even have to put in a compromise with the other side, because that would kind of like put a smudge on the Royal Guard. And so if Undyne like kicks off this person who caused that to happen, the smudge would kind of be desmudged in Undyne's eyes. That's kind of what would happen. But that's just in Undyne's eyes. So yeah, basically, for Undyne, she basically made the thing, made Vanilla. I'm not forget. Fricka, fracka, fricka, fricka. Shit. Mm. Mint Sans basically agree that if, like, if they were, if they lost the case or they had to put in a compromise with the other side, like, basically, Mint wouldn't just, like, lose, like, she would be kicked off of the Royal Guard. Kicked off and kicked out. Which Mint has her own kind of backup plan for if that somehow happens. Mint has an idea. She has actually a couple, like something, like a real good idea on how she could maybe reverse the effects of a possible compromise. Like, reverse the effects of the compromise so that she doesn't have to be kicked off, so that she doesn't have to be kicked out. But that's only if Undyne will give her the time of day. And that's only, if, they do lose. Which Undyne isn't planning to lose, and Mint isn't planning to lose. So, yeah. Plus, they're not even sure who the hell, like, the person on Game's side is. Game Sans. His side. Basically, the person who comes in, basically, they're a hooded figure. Like, their hood is, like, covering up so much of their body. Like, they're basically, the only thing that can be seen is that they have, like, claws for, like, their feet and their hands. And that it's, like, fluffy. They're, like, fluffy. Very fluffy. You can see their ears. The ears are fluffy. But besides that, you can't see anything else. And it also can be told that the individual is taller than Game. And the individual is just speaking with Game as basically, like telling Game, like, are you sure you're willing to actually go through with this? And, just trying to, like, reason with Game. And truly, really, the only reason that they're here is because apparently their ex-husband is the person who is the judge. And lo and behold, the judge just so happens to be the one who assigned Undyne as the captain of the Royal Guard. And who else would be given the, actual right to do that besides the king? Yes, that's right. This trial was deemed that important that Asgore had to be the judge. And well, the Riverman was deemed like the prosecution. Yeah, so basically the Riverman's the prosecution, and Asgore is the judge. And well, this person is only with Game because of something that has to do with Asgore. And Game kinda knows what's going on. He kinda knows who this person is, even though they're trying to keep themselves from being found out. But like they can kinda tell that with the look that Game's given her, you know, she can kinda tell she's already been like found out by Game. Like Game Sans is just like giving her like just fine, just it's just that look. Like, you've already been found out. There's no use. And so, like, the person just gets rid of the cloak altogether. Altogether, like, just gets rid of the cloak. And it's just like, everyone, like, the jury, all the jury, they should just, like, stand up. And they're just like, Lady Toriel! And everyone's just like, that was not seen coming. Even Mint and Undyne kind of have to be like, what? Wait, what? And Asgore's like, wait, what? And the Riverman's like, this is interesting. But, like, they kind of whispered that so that Asgore wasn't hearing that they found that this was interesting. basically Asgore's like, why is like his wife on the side of someone who's supposed to be like this dangerous killer and like criminal, just monster, evil thing person? Like, why is she on his side? And so, like, Asgore's like, probably the only way I'm gonna be able to find out this is like, if we get this going on. And so, eventually, you know, it's just, the trial is going through, and eventually it gets to a state in which Undyne's like, why don't you trust me as the captain of your royal guard to make the decision of the fate of this one? And then basically Toriel fires back with, hmm, of course, that's what it would seem like. And Undyne would be like, excuse me? Like, excuse you? And Toriel would just be like, I don't need to answer to you. And Undyne would be like, I am the captain of the royal guard. And Toriel is like, I used to have the position of queen until I decided that I no longer wanted to be part of such terrible things. And Undyne's like, what do you mean terrible things? And it would just be like, Asgore would be like, Undyne, I haven't told you, and I should have. And Undyne would be like, haven't told me what? And Asgore would be like, uh, the reason why Toriel's right. The reason why I can't do it. You will have to make it to where he is pardoned, but not completely. The pardon will only extend if a certain change is to happen. And Undyne is like, what certain change? And like, and what certain change is that? And Asgore's like, a certain change being a negotiation in between the two sides that would form a sort of, the best way I can say it is, mint signs, game signs. The two of you will have to be together as a sort of form of probation for game signs. And Mint, you will be his assigned probation officer under the guidance of myself, the king. And my word is highest of all. Isn't that right, Undyne? After all, the royal guard was the idea of you know who. And Undyne is like, well, okay, fine. You are like the one with the most power. Fine. It's just like, fine. But you do know what this means, Mint. And Mint is like, oh no. And then it's just like, game is released, but, well, to keep from anyone like like, getting too close. Toriel basically has fire magic in her hands and is basically just right behind Game. And it's like, anyone get too close, and I will burn you. And basically, that's how it is. Like, Mint is in front, and they basically have to follow Mint. And Mint Sans basically is like, this is my house. Okay, you don't have to be around him anymore, and you can, you know, put down your fire magic. And Toriel is like, not till I am 100% sure that he is safe with you. And Mint is like, look, Tori, it, uh, this guy is the one who is the criminal here. He is the one who's been doing all these terrible things. So why are you protecting him? And Tori is just like, do you not see what I see whenever I look into his eyelights? Do you not see the same thing? Or is it that you just haven't been actually looking? Are you looking, but not looking? Have you just been looking and not actually looking? Is what I'm asking Mint. And Mint is just like, wait, are you trying to say that if all I have to do is just try to see it from his perspective or something? You want me to try to look through his lens? Well, I don't really expect the same from him that he would do it for me. So why should I do it for him? And Toriel's just like, he hasn't ever done it for you because you never give him the chance. That's why I always have had so much disdain for the Royal Guard after what happened with you know who. Asgore changed the Royal Guard after they are children. He changed the Royal Guard. I promise to you, I promise to you, Mint, that if you just give him the chance, if you just give him the chance and the time that he needs, and if thing if things don't work out like they should, I will come back and I will confiscate him, and things will be done differently. I couldn't even tell you that. I want to have enough faith in you to believe that you can see what I see. But if by the time that, well, I wish you good luck. Please, use the time that you have wisely. And Toriel will just go off. And then Game will just be like, after you, princess. And Mint would just be like, smart ass. And she would walk in, and Game would just be like, ah, this is your place. And Vanilla would actually realize that he did wipe his shoes and even took them off. That's like the most he extended like that. Because, questioning her ability to keep her house clean and tidy, she didn't really, you know, like that. She didn't really like being told off about her own ability to keep everything safe and sound concerning her own house where she lives. Plus the fact that she probably fired of her own job because of this, and now she has to live with a criminal. Oh, the joy. Considering she'll be found with him, they'll probably take her to jail with him too. That's just fantastic. Then, Vanilla remembers what Toriel said, and so she's just like, fine, I'll try to see it from his point of view. Uh, well, if uh, I can. Hmm. Why is this? Why? Why does this have to happen to me? And Game is just like, ha! I knew it. You couldn't see anything from my point of view for just 1 second. You caved before you could even come up with a reason for why I would do anything that I do. You're so pathetic. You're such a loser. And you wonder why I do the things that I do. Why do you think, princess? Why do you think I am the way that I am, princess? And that's whenever things start to get a little bit too violent and too personal. He, Game grabs, Vanilla by the collar of her hoodie and throws her into a wall. Her wall. And then comes over there and starts sticking his foot right in between her lungs and colon and rubbing it there. And then using his other foot to kick her several times in the skelegut. And then steps back a couple times. And then, while taking a running start, then falls down a little bit and just a knee into her gut. And then, while his mouth is next to her ear, he says this: We will never get along, princess. We can never get along. You and me are raised on different sides of the train tracks. I'm bad, you're good. End of story. I don't know what Queen Fuzzy Buns saw in me whenever she offered to be my lawyer, but really, just really, how could anyone see anything in me? It's disgusting. The fact that they actually believe that there's a reason. No, why would there ever be a reason for the things that I do? Why would anyone ever care about the bad guy? Why? Why would anyone care about the bad guy? No, I'm just the bad guy. Just the one you gotta get rid of in order to save the day. Get the princess. Get out of the castle. Live yourselves a perfect life. Kids. Live to see those kids grow up. And hey, they might even write something nice down at your epitaph. Damn sure nobody's gonna do anything like that for me. No, that's because, and that's because, you know why that's because? Because I'm the bad guy. End of discussion, one way or not. And just teleportation. Just teleports into some, like, room that was, like a maintenance room, like a room that was, like, in maintenance. He cooks up something spiffy. He makes his own little room. And, he takes the in maintenance sign and just throws it in the garbage. Because now it's his room. Because now they gotta live with each other. And Game is gonna hate it. He just knows. He's gonna hate it. That is until he hears something. He starts hearing. He starts hearing humming coming down through the halls towards the room he made for himself. And then the door to his room starts to creak open. She didn't turn the light on, but Game could tell it was her. What are you doing here? Thought I already told you. And Min is just like, yeah, you're the bad guy. And what am I supposed to be? The heroine of the story? Like the Princess Peach. I'm expecting a call from Undine anytime today. Her gonna chew me up and spit me out. Because of what happened, I'm going to be fired from my job. I know you're not gonna have any sort of sympathy for me, but I just thought I would let you know. See what reaction you might have. I know it's not sympathy, but, just to see what your reaction would be. No other reason. And Game is just like, oh, so you think it's funny, huh? And Vanilla, like, bleh, bleh. And Mint would be like, wait, what? You think it's funny to make me your little lab rat, your test subject? Girl, I am no one's being test subject. In fact, handshake isn't my only special power. And then some string-like objects start receding, like coming out from, you know, Game's fingertips, and they start to, like, warp themselves around Mint's soul, and they start to squeeze. And Mint's just like, ugh, what are you doing to me? And Game would just be like, what I always do to people who think that they can just with me and get away with it. You think I'm new to this? You think I'm new to being messed with? No, every single last person who's messed with me, they're all dead. I am not going to be dealing being messed with ever again. I refuse. I refuse to be someone's toy. Never again. Never again. I refuse. Damn it, I refuse. And, Mint would kind of start to see something strange. This guy who just admitted that he doesn't plan on changing anytime soon, that he's the bad guy, he's the almighty super bad, just villain. This person who just now proudly admitted that and admitted that he was never going to change, so that there was really no purpose in Toriel doing what she did. This person who had said all of that before, they're crying. She can see it from the light peeking out through just how open the door was. No, Dane wasn't paying attention at all to how open the door was. And if the light peeking out could show anything on his face, maybe he didn't even know it himself that he was crying, or that he was just so broken inside that he needed help. Meant that big resolution just came. That revolution just came into her. I hit her super hard, and she just finally realized this guy needs help. He really does need help. That's all he's ever needed. Someone to help him. Just give him a chance. Someone to help him. That's all he's ever needed. And maybe he wouldn't have ever had to go down this route. Or maybe it was just someone, to help him get off of the route he was taking. Someone to, like, some form of rehabilitation. And for a slight moment, Vanilla thought to herself, like, bleh, shit, Mint thought to herself. So, you just need rehabilitation. Deep down inside yourself, you don't want to do these things, but that's all you've ever known. Is that either you do these things, or the people out there that eat you alive. That's all you've ever known, hasn't it? You've been taught by the cruel world out there that if you show weakness, if you show kindness, you'll just get eaten alive. So, that power of yours, that ability to give everyone or anyone anything that they have ever wanted in their entire life, and then just tear it all to pieces the next second? If anything, that's just a show of cruel irony on the part of whoever created you. If anything, I think this is your real power, and that handshake ability of yours is a curse. Yes, I remember now. Um, Prince. Prince of a curse marking. Yeah, a hand mark upon someone else's hand mark to hide the marking of a curse. That power of yours, your curse handshake, that's all that it is. A curse upon you from someone else. Now, you can never shake someone's hand without just completely destroying them right after giving them anything and everything that they've always wanted. The cruelest kind of death. It always ends in death, doesn't it? And then Game would just be like, shut up. Just shut up. Why? Why you gotta tell me what I already know? Besides, it's not like you could fix it. So what if that power's just a curse? What if my real power is the strings? What I actually. And then Ment would tell him, yeah, you used the strings. They're around my soul. Why? Why is that concerning to you at all? I mean, if it's your actual power, then you should be, you know, at least some bit happy about the fact that you actually have something special to you and you alone. And then Cam would tell her, you, you're the only one I'm going to tell this because right now I think you're the only one I'm actually going to trust with this kind of knowledge. These strings, they're soul strings. I can work them like it's magic, puppetry magic. So, and well, Mint's soul would just be released from the strings. The strings would release her soul. And Mint would finally be able to breathe regularly. And whenever Game realized that, the strings had affected her breathing, Game insisted that Mint allow him to see basically her, you know, basically just unzip her coat and, you know, take off her shirt. And, well, Skelebra. And Mint actually kind of put her foot down whenever it came to that part. But then she realized that, you know, Game, yeah, he kind of put his foot down even more whenever it came down to actually, yeah, you are going to. No ifs, ands, or buts. And so she did. And then she realized, wait, what is he doing? And then Game says, ah, so the strings, they did damage your airway, your ability to breathe. It's been disrupted by the strings. I'm the only one who can really help you with this, seeing as I'm the one who caused it to begin with. So, you're going to have to trust me. And, well, Vanilla would just be like, I'm putting a lot of trust in you as it is right now. But that's because I know a lot more about you than I used to know. And Well, Game is just like, well, I think that's already pretty obvious. Otherwise, you wouldn't have let me anywhere near you. Anyways, damn. I didn't know I was losing control that badly. I don't usually mean to get this angry at people. I usually like to stay very socially distant, actually. I think that would be evident by the several, you know, entrances and exits I have all the way through the underground of the underground, if you know what I mean. Sort of like special catacomb areas, catacomb-like areas. Ah, yeah. There's a lot of serious damage. Uh, you are definitely, fired or not, going to have to take some days off from work. And Mint is just like, what do you mean? And Game is like, that's what I mean. And she just looks and she can see the damage. And Game is just like, and yes, I know that's from me. And I'm sorry. You can get back dressed. Before you do, I insist. And, he would just, you know, bandages for that area specifically. He would just wrap bandages around the entirety of the torso, but especially that specific area where there was the most damage. And, well, the clothes, because she would probably want to be clothed, plus, to make sure no one really knew about the bandages, because if there was something about them having a fight, or more or less, Game laying the smack down, the smacketh downeth upon, you know, basically, yeah. Game doesn't want anyone knowing about that. But, Game would just be like, so, about your whole job thing, regardless about when you'll be able to resume work, I do indeed hope you don't get fired. That would really suck. And, you know, Mint is just like, how, when all of a sudden did you become Mr. Mushy? I thought you hated me and were the bad guy or something. And Game is just like, well, I don't know, just, it would, it would indeed really suck. And so, basically, they both go to their rooms, and, well, yeah, they would both wake up, you know, vanilla, not vanilla shit. Why do I keep on doing that? Mint would still have not gotten a call, but she would smell the delicious smell of a home cooked meal, breakfast, especially breakfast. And here's someone being like, mm-hmm, 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 and Vanilla like, now fuck, freaking Mint would just be like, Oh, is that a familiar tune I hear? And well, basically, Game would just be like, uh, hi, uh, uh, the, the mint. Hi, I just, thought, it would be boring waiting for you to wake up. Your beauty sleep and all that. Girls, is that just a regular girl thing, or, I've never been really all that much around girls, for too long. So I'm not exactly sure if that's just is that a thing that all girls do, or is it just a select few? Like, is this like a club of beauty sleep people? And, well, not vanilla. Mint would just, snicker to herself. She would, have so many. Like, if he's confused about the whole beauty sleep thing, like, imagine the other stuff that she could tell him about. I mean, if they're supposed to, not be killing each other, then what's the best way to not do that? You know, be kind of friendly to each other. And so I guess, talking about the whole thing, talking about beauty sleep and what it actually means. And, Mint would just be like, the beauty sleep, that's just a thing, you get extra sleep so that you're extra beautiful in the morning and whenever you're taking a beauty sleep, beauty nap. And, you know, Game would just be like, oh, so that's just a thing that girls do. And Mint's just like, if that was supposed to offend me, you succeeded. And Game was like, well, I wasn't trying to, but if I succeeded anyways, well, I guess that just shows how awesome I am. And you're also about to see just how awesome, not only see, but taste how awesome of a cook I am. Don't worry, I didn't destroy anything. Quite to the contrary, I actually decided to do some cleaning up. And Mint would just be like, oh, oh, oh my god, this is delicious. And Game was just like, well, yeah, you think so? You actually think it's good? And Mint is like, yeah, it is good. And that was just the pancakes. Wait till I taste everything else. I wonder what your bacon tastes like. Well, why don't I just have a try? How? My goodness. This is probably one of the best breakfasts I've ever had. I usually don't do too much for breakfast because, well, usually I'm on a tight schedule. But seeing as I haven't really gotten that much information on if I have work today or don't, well, I guess this can be worked around. Plus, you're the one who did it, not me. And Game is just like, man, you do know what I said before. The whole thing about undying kiss asses. And just how stupid they are. And Mint is just like, yeah, and look who's having to live with me in order to stay out of jail. The one who wasn't the Undyne kiss ass. And I'm supposed to be the stupid one? And Game is just like, I was outnumbered. Plus, outnumbered by a lot of really strong monsters. You do know that for a lot of the stupid people that follow her around, she is pretty strong herself and skilled. She just needs to put her strength and skill in the right places. And then she'd be the perfect monster to be the actual good captain of the Royal Guard that this monster world needs if we're actually ever to be free. And Mint is just like, so you think she's lacking in the right things? Man, it's a wonder why you never say that to her, personally. And Game is like, reason why I never do that? Simple. Quite simple. I'm not an idiot. And that has nothing to do with strength or anything else. Just has to do with what I formally stated. And Vanilla, like, not Vanilla, Mint is just like, wait, I think I hear something. I think that's my phone. And she just goes upstairs, like, and goes to her room. And, well, you know, the food's about to get cold, and so Game ends up eating it all. And, he just goes into his room, you know, just to chill, because to be really like real with you guys, Game ain't doing jack shit but just chilling. But then on the other side, like on the other wall, like he hears crying. Lots of crying. And it sounds like it's coming from, and he's like, man, something bad happened. And I'm gonna have to fix the situation. Well, looks like the universe isn't giving me any freebies this time. Any freebies that I like. Well then, off I go, I guess. And, you know, Game is just like, Feel Good Express. Like, knock, knock, knock. Like, Feel Good Express. We're coming right in, whether you want us to or not. And whenever Game comes in and sees Mint the shape that she's in, uh, Game, why are you even here? I thought you hated me. And Game is like, uh, Mint, if I hated you, I wouldn't have cooked breakfast for you. And also, some of that breakfast was for me, seeing as you didn't finish yours, and I didn't want the food to go to waste. And there is no way in hell I'm feeding it to those animals outside. Those raccoons don't need to get any bigger than they already are. Lucky they come from Chernobyl. Never mind. I finished it all off myself. Just in case you were wondering. And, well, your situation, if you don't mind. Probably do, but still, I'm pretty sure that some part of me feels obligated to ask anyways. And Mint is just like, well, stop being a suck ass about it, Game. I'm fired. And Game is like, what? The nerve of that fish stick, little. And Mint is like, wait, what? And Game is just like, hold on 1 second. I gotta do something. And Game just marches over into his room, then marches downstairs and right out the house. But before it does, there's like a shock collar on his leg in case he actually tried to run away. And he just uses whatever he grabbed from his room to like bash the shock collar. And so like Mint is just like, oh god, no, what's going to happen now? And so Mint is like trying to play this smart, trying to hide, not make herself automatically known. But basically, the trail that she ends up following is a trail that leads to Undyne's place. Game knows where Undyne lives, so that's just freaking perfect. Wait, why is he coming here? And that's whenever Game straight up kicks Undyne's door down. And Undyne is just like, who the hell? And just has a spear in one hand, and just like, you. I see you've broken out of your little capture. What's that all about? What, did you get too bored of bullying out the failure? I knew it. I just knew she would never be good enough. She would just get ripped to shreds in a war, an actual real battle. And Game would just be like, you shut your dirty mouth and apologize. Because I'm pretty sure the other one, the one that you're talking about, is right behind me. Aren't you, Mint? And Mint is like, wait, he could sense that I was. Okay then. He can apparently sense life forces. That's apparently a thing that Game can do. And Undyne is like, apologize to her for doing a thing that would keep her from getting killed? Why should I ever do that whenever I was doing the right thing? If she ever got out there in a real battle, she would just get killed. Besides, you and her actually act like you might be getting along. From what I've been told from a friend. And, you know, seeing as Dagami and Dagaressa are currently still in the hospital because of that headbutt that they both got, the only other one that would be intelligent enough to like snoop around would be Dago. And so Game is like that little snitch. So he was watching everything. And Undyne is just like, yeah, watching her have sympathy for you, even though you, you're terrible. You're a criminal. And Game is like, some people only just want to look at the cover of a book, now don't they? Undyne. Now, like I said before, and, Game is just about to get out his strings. Apologize right now. and just like about to get all the strings out, and basically Mint jumps out there and like tackles Game onto the back and just yells out, "No! Please, Game, don't! Please, I don't want you to be arrested. Unlike Undyne, I know you're not a bad person. Because how could anyone like you be a bad person? You were only turned bad due to bad circumstances that led you to be the way that you were before what happened in between the two of us. The word that I used before, rehabilitation, Undyne. That's what I'm doing. Uh, short, a short word for it would be rehab. You know about that? And Undyne's like, I'm not stupid. I know what rehabilitation means. And you really think he deserves that chance? This is exactly why. Game. You're very lucky that your friend came there to save you. Otherwise, I might have actually had to try. And then Game was just like, oh, that's it. I've had enough of you. And then all of a sudden, just like a big explosion of fire, and all of a sudden Toriel would come out of nowhere, and it's like, I've had enough! And then it's just like, Undyne of the Royal Guard, I have a message for you from King Asgore. And the message just says, like, Game Sans the Skeleton has been pardoned of all crimes since this date. And Undyne is just like, what the? They're appealing to the criminal? Ah, this is so stupid. And Toriel is like, no, I agree with Mint Sans. He only became this way because of the way he was raised. And that's not at all. Some monsters are never even given a chance to have a true family, or even if they do have that chance, that true family could be even worse than a fake one. Have you ever brought that into consideration, Undyne? What he's feeling, what he must have been feeling the whole time. And then just all of a sudden, like, Mint actually goes as far as to, you know, de-bandage herself and show Undyne the wound. And Game was like, what are you doing? You're going to kill yourself. And, Game just rushes over and bandages back everything up, but doesn't actually bother to reclothe, like, Mint. And it's like, you could have killed yourself. You need to keep those on. What have I said before, Mint? You need to keep those on. You're gonna get yourself killed. You could bleed out. Or you could, make an even worse cut. I still haven't forgiven myself for what I did to you. And, well, if you were to die because of it, I. Damn it. You know. Mint. Please don't ever do anything that stupid again. And Mint is like, I think that's all the proof that any of us need, isn't it, Undyne? And Toriel's right there and is like, yes, Undyne, isn't it? And Undyne is just like, kind of questioning herself, because, like, that was just straight up went up to her and was like, put the bandages back on or else you are going to die. And, I would never forgive myself if you died. And I can't even forgive myself, period, for what happened before. So, Undyne has just seen, a pure moment of just, selfless, actually caring for another person. I mean, that was serious shit. So Undyne's just like, fine, I'll accept the pardon. You, Game Sans, what do you say about the decision to fire Mint? And Game Sans is basically just like, well, you didn't really need to actually ask for my permission on anything. You could have just rehired her. And Undyne's like, what do you mean? And, Game Sans is just like, because my feeling on the whole matter is you should have never fired her to begin with. Of course, Mint's a little bit, you know, herself, but hey, that kind of can't be helped sometimes. And, well, if the two of us were to be more around each other more, around each other more, maybe I could help iron some of that out. Actually, we could help each other out. Me help better Mint, and Mint help better me. I think that's the perfect thing, right? Undyne? And Undyne's just like, damn it, you may be you may be yourself, but you're also very smart. Fine. You're pardoned, and you can do what you said. And and basically Game Sans is like, you hear that, Mint? That means you and me, we're staying. And that room is staying mine. There were some things I was waiting to integrate into it until, if I was actually going to get the chance to stay. And, you know, basically, Game was just like, you know, just in case I was actually allowed to stay. And Mint is just like, well, why not? You just said you would teach me how to become stronger, and Game would just be like, Mint, 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 Mint. It's stronger that with you, whatever. It's not just that. There are other things besides just pure raw strength that I'm gonna have to lecture you on if you want to actually become a good asset to an actually good functioning royal guard. No love lost, eh, Undyne? And Undyne would be like, yeah, no love lost. You. And Game Sense would just be like, sheesh, she sure is the way that she is about everything. Anyways, let's get going. Let's get going, Mint. Just stop myself there. Just stop myself. And Mint would be like, yeah, let's get going. And Game was like, wanna have a Gaster Blaster race? And Mint is like, you bet I do. And Game was like, let's see whose Gaster Blaster's faster. And Mint is like, are you sure about that? And Game was just like, three, two, one, go. And Mint is like, hey, you started without me. And they would just Gaster Blaster race like all the way over to basically both of their houses now, because it's technically, well, they're both living there. But Game is like, hey, so probably you don't have to do anything with like the deed to the house. It's still yours anyways. That. So basically, Game's fine with not having to make any changes to the deed to the house. But one of the first things he wants to do is, well, he always thought it would be fun to see, well, if their actual friendship could stand the test of time. By the test of time, he means the test of the game that breaks friendships. Well, technically games, because there's like the original and then like the sequels, and then like Mint would just automatically get it. No. And then Game would just have it in his hand, and he'd be like, they don't call me Game Sans for no damn reason. Well, that's already my name, and well, this. And it's just like, we just have the controllers and just have the system, and it would just be like, now, welcome Mario Party. And just, Mint will just be looking at the controllers, looking at the screen, looking at the console, looking at the game, looking at Game himself, and would just look at herself, and she would be like, fine, let's delve into the madness. And Game's like, and that's what I like. That's what I like to hear talking about. That's what I like talking about. Delving into that madness. Mario Party madness. And they will just play Mario Party. And short answer as to who wins. Well, you know, there would just be like they would both be at their beds because it would be like in the middle of the night. Like the system would be off. They would have put everything back up where it went. Like, they would just both be at their beds. And, you know, it would be an exhausted Mint and an exhausted Game. And he would just have the biggest freaking grin. That is until he hears a little creaking sound, and then the sound of something closing. He realizes that was the door to his room. Well, he didn't see anybody, and then he slowly just realizes something raising up from the side, from the side of his bed, and somebody would just put their arm over his chest and have like their head leaning against like his side, and they would just be like, "Game," they'd be like, "Game," and Game would just be like, "Uh, Mint," and Mint would just be like, Mint Sans would just be like, uh, "I I don't wanna sleep alone," and Game would just be like, Well, uh, you do know I'm not going to share a pillow, right? And Vanilla's just like, they're not Vanilla. Mint is just gonna be like, and Game is just gonna be like, fine, but just now. I'm only doing this time, okay? Every other time, you gotta bring your own pillow. And, you know, freaking Mint would just slink their way up and into the other side of the bed. And it would just be like, and they would just have their arm and they would like kind of like scoop Game like right next to them and like kind of like be like hugging them. And Game would just, it would be like a freaking fire hydrant, like just went off like, psst, and just like the ultimate blush to where it actually kind of lighted up the room. But like, you know, Game would realize like as like Mint was kind of like cuddled up to him, like, wrapping their arms around and kind of wrapping their legs around too. You know, basically just smushing themselves next to him. He would kind of realize they're adorable whenever they sleep. They're asleep. Like Mint is adorable, and well, he kind of not just adorable, but he kind of also thinks Mint is attractive, like really attractive. Like, oh no, I think I got a crush kind of attractive. Like, not just any crush, like legit. I think I might love this person. But it's just like Game isn't someone who's known for making like connections with people and trying to do his best to keep those connections. And so he's just like, so why do I feel this way about this person? And why am I letting them like do this? Like wrap their legs around me, wrap their arms around me, get so damn close to me. They're like breathing down my neck and like their chest is to my chest. And like I'm literally like a freaking fire hydrant. And they look so like blissfully asleep, like not a care in the world. And I am just, it's just like they're cradled within like the center of Game's body. Like if he was a planet, they would be like cradled within his center of gravity. Like they would just be like pretzeled around him. And eventually, you know, Game would calm down just enough to finally, you know, just finally just be like, and around that time you would just hear, and it would just be like they would both at the same time conk out. And whenever Game would wake up, he would just realize they did not move a single bit from the positions that they were in last time. Like, Game was awake, and Mint was awake. They're still in the same position. And so, without waking up Mint, Game has to kind of, you know, slowly but surely get himself out of the position. Because, he kind of wants to take on the role of man of the house. I mean, if he's having all these new feelings coursing through him, giving him like this like rush, like a blood rush. If he's having all these feelings, you know, for some reason he's like, the man of the house now, because there's a man and a woman, just one man, one woman. There's gonna be like a man of the house. He's got to be the man of the house, and so basically he plans on doing what he did before and making breakfast because they had no lunch, no dinner last like yesterday. No lunch, no dinner, just breakfast. And so, yeah, like Game is not gonna have that. And well, while he is doing his thing, making breakfast, he can hear like the sound of something falling and like, ow, fuck, and just like someone opening the door, and it's just like, ow, think I hurt myself. Game, I think I hurt myself. It's like, Game, I think I hurt myself. Ow, ow. And Game would kind of realize, like, like, to the point where Mint got to the top of the stairs, they were like freaking scooting to that point. Like, they can't actually get up. And so Game would teleport to Mint's, like, where Mint is, like, at the top of the stairs, and would realize, I don't know how, but by falling out of the bed, she broke her freaking leg. Her right leg. Like, and broke it bad. So, Game is just gonna be like, well, not only am I making breakfast for the both of us, but I'm gonna have to, play doctor. And so, Game gets out his strings, but, instead of, like, doing it to hurt Mint, this time he, like, makes sort of like a cast around the point of Vanilla's arm that's broken. And, calls up a doctor, someone to, like, get all this good stuff in, like fix everything. And just because I want to be a meme lord like my friend the Shadow Lord, just because I want to be a meme lord like him. Oh yes, it is the good doctor here to help you now. And like the game would be like, okay, who the hell? And then the person would just be like, oh no, I am no demon, no devil. No, I am a man of science. Yes, the good doctor will be to help you now. And Game would just be like, I'm not the one who needs helping. It's either you or her or you and her that need help. Never mind. What'd you say your name was? My name? My name is Dr. Schneeperstein. And Game is like, Dr. Schneepelstein? The frick? Okay. Well, Vanilla, Dr. Schneepelstein will be the one to help you with this. It's okay. I got you some cloth. If you need to bite down, here. It's, yeah, I'm pretty sure you probably already noticed. It's my, I don't care if it's my freaking hoodie, if it's part of my hoodie. I don't care if it's a part of my hoodie or not. If you need something, just bite down on my sleeve. And Mint is like, okay. And so Game just slowly removes like the strings, because he made a string cast. And so he slowly removes the strings, and Dr. Schneepelstein decides to inspect, and he's like, "Oh yes, very, very, interesting. Haven't you just tried doing this? It's a 3." And Mint is like, "Wait, what? 2?" And Game is just like, "Do it now!" And then he's just like, "1!" And then she's just like, "Ha!" And just just straightens it. It wasn't broken too much. All it needed was some straightening out. A broken bone can always be fixed by a straightening out. And the Robitussin. I will be going. Basically, you know, just like Dr. Sneeplestein would just disappear like with one of Marvin's cards, he would just pop one of those out of nowhere. It's like, and Game would just be like, "Uh, are you okay? Are you okay, Mint?" And Mint will be like, "I know it's fixed, but could you do that thing you did again? The string cast? I think in order for it to stay like that, to completely straighten it, we might need to have a cast around it for a while. And to not put any pressure, so I may need your help with getting around for a while. Please don't tell Undyne about this. That I literally broke my leg from falling out of the bed." And Game is just like, "Don't have to worry about me and the fish lady. Senorita Fish Stick. Me and her? You won't have to worry about me and Senorita Fish Stick talking anytime soon. Besides, I hate her. Why would I talk to her if I hate her?" And Mint is like, "Yeah, you got a good point there, Senor Funnybone." And Game would just be like, "Oh, don't you be doing that. Not unless you want me to beat you in a couple more rounds of Mario Party." Yeah, so just solving that mystery then and there. Yeah, I mean, he brought up Mario Party. Don't you think he would be pretty good at it by now? I mean, like, Mario Party's a game, and he's Game Sans, so, I mean, come on. So, yeah, this is where I'm gonna stop. Plus, it's like an hour and 29 minutes. Yeah, that's gonna be a while. So, I'm gonna douse this, because Dark Shadow Maverick is OT out of here. Ya boys, bye.